Hi folks, I have this quarter fold card to show you today. And I made this one a few weeks ago on a Facebook Live, but I wanted to film the project individually so I could put it on YouTube and have it more accessible for reference. So this version I didn't show before. I just made this one with the Happy Tales bundle. And these cards open like so. So kind of like when you fold box flaps all together, the same concept. I close the left and then the bottom and then the side and tuck in the top. And this is not a new idea, but I love to revisit these ideas. This is on Split Coast long ago, but I just think it's just fun to revisit them with the new papers and stamp sets. So we'll make this one. I think this is a little easier to see because I've got two colors going here. I've got the gorgeous Grape, and that's a half sheet of cardstock cut across the width, and then Highland Heather, which is also a half sheet cut lengthwise. All right, so let's show you how to use those pieces. We've got the gorgeous Grape first, and like I said, this is a half sheet, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. And we're scoring at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. But so that we don't have that flat fold, which may interfere with the exact width of this piece, we're going to add a score line to the outside of each score line that we just made. Okay, so I'm going to slide the cardstock over a bit so I can line up with a track and score on the flap side, not on the center piece, but I'm going to score right next to that first score line that we made, and I'm going to do that on this side as well, okay? And that will help where there's all this bulk and this comes together, you know, right at the same dimension as this width. We'll be able to fold those flaps around each other. Okay, so similar thing on the Highland Heather, which measures 4 1/4 by 11, so that's a half sheet. And this one we're scoring at 2 3/4 and 8 1/4. And again, for the same reason, we're going to score an additional little score line right next to the first out in the flap area on both sides. Oh, I may not have gotten that one. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and burnish those scores, and you'll see that little bit of extra depth there will help these pieces to fit together nicely. And I like the Highland Heather on top of the Grape here, and we're just going to put those pieces together like this. I'm using the liquid Tombow glue, so I have a little time to slip these into place if they're not lining up perfectly. I'm going to put this down and then just make sure these can fold around each other. Looks good. And there will be a little opening there because we don't have exact, we've moved over that score line so that there's some depth to this card. All right, now I have a piece already stamped for the inside. This is 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White, and I'm just going to attach that to the inside, and then we'll fold this up and decorate the front. Okay, but the inside will be done then. So I'm putting this Whisper White piece right there in the center. And then, like I said, I like to fold the left and then the bottom and then the side. And then on the last one, you have to tuck in at the top left corner. Okay? And then the pieces on the front, they're not exactly all the same. Okay, so you can see that this width is a little wider than this gorgeous Grape is a little bit narrower. So we're actually cutting designer paper pieces. They're not 4 equal pieces. The striped ones here are 1 7/8 by 2 5/8, and then the spotted ones are 2 by 2 1/2. Okay, and I'm going to stamp my happy birthday on the striped piece. Now, I like to use archival or stays on when I'm stamping on DSP, so I get really opaque coverage of the designer paper. Okay, see how nice and crisp that is. And then I've already made the cake pieces. All right, I lined up the stamps so that I will be able to stamp them with the punch. I'm sorry, punch them with the punch. And I've already colored them ahead of time with my blends. I've used pineapple punch and lovely lipstick, dark and light, and this is Bermuda Bay. And then these are both shades of Highland Heather on the lollipops, and I cut those out by hand. Okay, so all that's left is to assemble these. Now, be careful here. See, the spotted paper, or the spotted print is on one side of the paper, and the stripe is on the other. So we need the narrow ones. I'm going to put on first. Oopsie, wait a minute. That should go down here because I'm going to put the one with the greeting up here. Okay, and then I'm going to also attach these. These are really fun prints from the How Sweet It Is designer paper collection. Okay, so we just have these all to press in place. And then I've got dimensionals here. I'm just going to pop up the cake pieces. I've got some little dimensionals for the pedestal. And we'll start with that. So I hope you're thinking of, you know, what papers and stamps that you have to fit this. This is really a fun little card type. And the designer paper does most of the work here, I think. So it comes together pretty quickly. I'm going to do that and just tuck that in behind the top of the cake, and there we have it. Okay, so there we have, pull in the other one, the two versions I made of the quarter fold card. So visit me please at buckeyeinklings.com. I've got lots of other great ideas there, and thanks for watching.